Good day everyone, this is Vlad Kustov again with a new video about the covariant tensor machine. Today I tell you about development theory of the CTM. The goal consists of how actual velocity add in space-time and how to receive velocity addition formula for relativistic speed. Let I have three reference frames. First frame is a rest frame. I assigned it number 1. Second frame is a moving system, relativity first. The actual velocity of second frame is v_d upper index. Its velocity relativity of first frame. Third frame is a moving frame that entire intercomposition of second reference frame. The actual velocity of third frame is u wave d upper index. Its velocity relativity of second frame. What is actual velocity of third frame? Relativity first frame u d upper index. From the beginning, I define the space-time invariant S between first and second reference frame. It's a standard operation that was written in the last video. Here, Ct is a proper time distance of rest reference frame. Ct, small t upper index and 1-2 lower index is the time distance of moving system relativity of first frame. I have known that S contains invariant actual velocity Vd and invariance of time distance. Here necessary separate from S only invariance of time distance without actual velocity. Such representation is the expression of vector in spacetime of functional or one form. One form is a tensor field that has a tensor valence 1.0. It goes to lowering of index actual velocity. Its covariant expression of actual velocity or covariant actual velocity. It breaks down spacetime invariant S into a functional of moving reference frame and time dilation. Some of these are full proper time of second reference frame. Such is a rest system. It's possible because second reference frame it's rest relativity third. Basis vector ED DO index gave covariant direction or generalized. After transformation, it has become contravariant ED upper index. In theory of CTM, covariance of basis vector means the safe of direction independent of changing invariant. In this case, as though I change the module of actual velocity Vd, then the direction of basis vector is a constant. Against, if I change Vd lower index than the basis vector ED, the upper index changes its direction. Such event is named contravariance of basis vector. CTM is the development theory because some definitions is took over and can generate a misunderstanding. Contravariance direction ED upper index creates additive direction omega d upper index for actual velocity in our reference frame that enters into the composition. Its covariance or generalized direction for actual velocity of third reference frame. Now I show you that is right by another way. Early, I have searched full proper time of second system. Now, necessary defines the direction of actual velocity without addition direction. It's simple because the searching direction always perpendicular of time distance. At the same way, the direction E wave d lower index coincides with additive direction omega d upper index. This event proves another way that I talked. Now, I can add modulus of actual velocity 1 and 2. It's clear addition of invariance. Operation is commutative. It means that doesn't matter the order of invariance. Otherwise, a tensor convolution, covariant or contravariant components gives the same invariant. Thus, if I know the additive direction, then I do a tensor convolution and get a sum of invariants. Another side, I know presentation of actual velocity in generalized direction. ED lower index and E wave D lower index are generalized direction for second and third reference frame. At once appear next question. What is the space-time commutator between vectors of actual velocities? From diagram can see that construction of perpendicular from and U wave D on direction ED gives clear functional of time. It does on base connection between frames second and third. Therefore, perpendicular is a commutator between actual velocities. It's related to velocities with time distance of rest reference frame. Here appears contradiction with length of vector that was put on invariant early. In addition, point of start vector is in past time for rest reference frame. Here can find that CTM works wrong and part of theory gives a mistake. Nevertheless, not all of principle is used in CTM theory. For solution of the contradiction, I turn to Cassady principle. The principle affirms that every action has reason which it has consequence, in which connection everything happens in flux of time. I have known that every point, reference frame, system body creates its flux proper time. It was shown by me in past video about pseudo-Euclidian space. In that way, I perceive the commutator as addition for time distance, but commutator is taken out of absolute with a conservation of direction, like this. Length of commutator is equal fraction of velocities. Here, it happens a stretching or a lengthening of time distance in first reference frame for observers who are looking to first from third reference frame. I know from last video that actual velocity turn the proper time of rest frame. Earlier it was search the sum of invariants. I remember that third frame enters the second frame. Thus I can express the sum of invariants to direction ED. Then if I connect an invariant addition tau roof with the sum of invariants, I receive a smile with an invariant addition. The crossing with absolute gives clear vector of spacetime invariant as smile. It's the certain spacetime interval. With help it can receive UD. Now I remember first video where I was talking about of spacetime invariant S was S smile is a spacetime invariant between first reference frame and third reference frame. I know that invariant S can be represented by the certain velocity U, D, upper index and relativity time distance CT smile. Now I don't know the invariant of actual velocity UD, but I know the direction. It's the same direction ED with second frame, relativity first, but the time distance direction in the same too as second frame, relativity first. If I calculate UD with vector analytically, then I have received Einstein formula for velocity addition. This formula shows if one of actual velocities is equal speed of light, then UD is equal speed of light. This is a good opportunity to examine my arguments and the CTM. I will have done in next video. I will show you how to use the CTM in action. Also, I talk an invariant addition tau roof, more specify and future effects of the using the CTM. Thank you for your attention. See my next video about development theory of CTM.